Hello folks, welcome to OTD, also known as On The Deck, where you can get all the sports you need in 10 minutes. My name is Adam Orduna, this is my mom Gina.
He is a journalist.
She's the enthusiast.
I am so enthusiastic, and it's one of my favorite things. I wait all year. It's almost like Christmas, waiting for this to come around.
Right, well, and speaking of Christmas, we have some snow coming down on us, and even though it's March, we still get winter weather.
I believe it's March 14th to be exact.
14th, exactly.
It's still snowing
middle
on
of the month, and we are getting snow. And if you know anything about the Midwest,
that's not unusual.
Yeah, there can be snow all the way up until May. And we have, just a couple of years ago, we had snow in May, a big snowstorm in May. So this is not unusual for us to get snow in March. That's why we're in our hats and gloves and coats. Well, because of March, one of your favorite things, like you said, it comes once a year. It's March Madness. And it is awesome. And so we're going to talk about the men's side of the NCAA bracket today.
Yes, a little bit.
We are also going to mention some other tournaments that are taking place during just the main NCAA men's basketball tournament. We're going to talk about the NIT and then two other tournaments, the CBI and the CIT.
There you go.
And so those are some lower level tournaments that basically for teams that didn't make it to the NCAA bracket
or the NIT,
or didn't make it into the NIT tournament or their bracket. The CBI has a tournament, a 16 seeded tournament, and the CIT also has a 26 team tournament / bracket. And so some of these teams that we will bring up for these other two, the CBI and the CIT, have made it or have made runs in the actual NCAA tournament, or they were, for this year, one game away. If they would have won their conference, they had the automatic bid. And then as it goes, if you don't get the automatic bid, you usually make it into the NIT. So they're just 1 or 2 games away from really making it to the big dance. And so we're going to talk about those tournaments right now.
Yeah. So, well, why don't we start with the CIT, which is the College Invitational Tournament.
Yes.
And if you've never heard of it, don't feel bad. I didn't either. Adam had to educate me on this.
Yes.
But it is, what's the format?
Yes, so right now, how they're doing it is there really isn't a seeding. They don't do a full bracket with it. They just say, all right, here are the 26 teams. It's 10 athletic directors. And it's just basically a committee. And so they select teams that say, hey, your record was still good. You had a chance to go. We're not going to put you in a tournament bracket, but we're going to match you up. And there's a first round, second round, quarterfinal, semifinal, and then a championship game.
Right.
And there's 26 teams, as we said. And so there's a couple big teams that we want to mention.
Ooh, that win
it's cold, man.
Okay.
So we've got Cal State Fullerton.
Yes.
We've got Idaho, Texas State, Texas A&M, Corpus Christi. Then we've got Stephen F. Austin. We've got Albany, and then Georgia State. So those are some of just the big teams that are in the CIT that have kind of had runs within the NCAA tournament or the NIT.
Well, and any of those teams that you named could be, like you said, be in the bigger dances.
Yes. Texas A&M, Corpus Christi, well, if they would have won their conference tournament.
And who did they play?
They played New Orleans. And New Orleans has the automatic bid for winning the Southland Conference. And so they were literally just one game away from being in the tournament. And so it's really cool because it allows universities and these guys that have worked hard all year to still play in a postseason tournament and still win a championship game.
Yes, and they still have to wait to be invited
they
too.
Still have to get invited and be selected. So it's great to play in postseason. It's kind of like college football. You know, for the guys that had, you made it 7 or 8 wins. If you've had a tough schedule or whatever, you have a chance to still play. You get a chance to do that. So it's really fun. These games will be streamed on Facebook Live, which is really cool.
We do that.
Live. We stream our show on Facebook Live. Facebook Live is a really big tool for a lot of people to get out there and broadcast themselves nationally. And a lot of TV shows, sports shows do it.
That's right.
And now this is a great chance for these guys to play on Facebook Live. And then it's also being played on the
CBS the championship game, the CBS Sports Network, which is, your extended cable package. But if you have that, you get to see that. So they start playing
national coverage.
Yeah, first round is started yesterday, March 13th through the 16th. Round 2 is the 17th through the 20th.
Correct.
The quarterfinals are the 20th through the 23rd. Right.
Yes.
And then I can't see my
semifinals are the 23rd through the 26th, and then the actual final is March 31st.
All right.
So, yes. And so it's really cool. Yeah.
Good for you, those teams.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's a great opportunity for these guys to play. And so we're excited. Hopefully you guys can tune in and watch them. We'll be keeping the close track on that, and we'll give you updates. It's March Madness. So that's just one of the tournaments. That's the CIT. Let's go ahead to the CBI.
So the CIT is a college invitational tournament.
Yes.
The CBI is a college basketball invitational.
Correct. And
tournament.
This is a different style. There are only 16 teams that are invited.
But it is bracket.
But it is a bracket format. And so this is really cool because one of our hometown teams, a school that I went to and attended to get my degree, they are playing in this tournament as well. And there are some other big name schools playing in this tournament that didn't quite make the NIT or the NCAA tournament, but they also had good chances to make it to both. And so we've got Wyoming and Eastern Washington, UMKC and Green Bay.
Well, now these are versus, right? Wyoming versus Eastern Washington.
Yes,
okay.
Exactly. And UMKC versus Green Bay, Rice versus San Francisco. You have Georgia Southern versus Utah Valley.
Then on the other side, you've got George Washington versus Toledo, UIC versus Stony Brook.
Yes.
Coastal Carolina versus Hampton.
Yep.
And then George Mason versus Loyola, Maryland.
Right.
So these are all teams. If these names sound familiar to you,
right? You've heard.
It's because you've seen some of them either in the Big Dance or the NIT.
Yes, and these are some quality schools that really were just this close away from really making it to the dance. They either made it to their quarter or semifinal within their conference championship. They may have had one big win, but went on a slump there or something like that. So these are all quality games. The UMKC Green Bay game is interesting because, like I said, I went to UMKC to get my journalism degree.
You played football at K-State, but got your degree finished at UMKC.
But somebody tweeted out the other day, and I retweeted it. They're like, this is the college basketball equivalent of the Green Bay Packers versus the Kansas City Chiefs. So I thought that was really funny.
So we're rolling with the Roos.
Exactly.
UMKC Kangaroos.
Right, but again, there's some really good teams in this tournament, so it's also fun to watch these teams get after it and play, and so we're going to continue to follow that tournament very closely as well.
That's right. So is anything else going on?
Yeah, let's see. Let's try to get to these other tournaments here. So now let's get to the NIT, which a lot of people are very familiar with, the National Invitational Tournament. Yes, exactly. So that's really fun. A lot of great teams played in that.
It's a great bracket in that thing.
Exactly. We're just going to highlight the 1 and 2 seeds for this tournament because it is a full-on bracket. And we're going to talk about, I'll mention the 1 seeds.
You mention the ones, I'll take the 2.
Okay,
there you go.
So we have Syracuse, Iowa, Illinois State, and Cal, and they were all just one game away. They were all bubble teams to make it to the NCAA tournament.
And there's a big argument about whether Syracuse should have been in the NCAA. But the number 2 seeds, again, teams that were all on the bubble: Clemson, Illinois, Georgia, and Houston.
Right.
So these are all power conference teams who are now 1s and 2 seeds in the NIT. And I think it'll be great. And honestly,
it's going to be a fun tournament to watch.
My money is on Cuse.
It's
and there are good teams in the IT, but if and like I said, I don't want to ruin anybody's bracket and I'll tell you what, Adam, I think in a few years you're going to start seeing more and more of the NIT brackets in people's office pools as well.
Well, they already are in these office brackets, office pools, but I think some of these other ones, the ones that we just mentioned, the CBI, the CIT, will start to get more, especially when some of these lower level or lower mid-major teams continue to go on runs like they've been doing. But the NIT will start to get more and more press. Because it's kind of that extra, like, hey, here's another tournament we can bet on, throw some money on.
Well, and all the NIT games are being played on ESPN.
Correct.
And as a matter of fact, Syracuse gets to kick off tomorrow. So,
it's
go ahead.
Big deal. Yeah, you'll be able to watch it on TV.
And last but certainly not least.
All right, so we're going to quickly try to highlight the NCAA actual, the main NCAA tournament. And so we're just going to go with the 1 and 2 seeds, and then we'll quickly talk about the games that will be actually played today.
Starting today,
yeah. So the 1 seeds, I'll go with the 1s, you go with the 2s.
Perfect.
So we have KU, Villanova, Gonzaga, and North Carolina.
And the 2s are Duke, Kentucky, Arizona, and Louisville.
Yes, and obviously all those teams are really good. And then the 3 seeds, Baylor, Oregon. Some of the others were this close away from being a number 1 seed, and so
you know who knocked Baylor out of that 2 seed, don't you? K-State.
K-State, yes, exactly, yes, exactly. So,
I'm not saying it's good. I always want Big 12 teams to be up at the top, but I was a little surprised where Iowa State is. Iowa State, they're like a 4 or 5 seed, I think.
Exactly.
But they won the Big 12 tournament, so we'll see.
They did, yeah. Well, there are some bubble games that are being played today
and tomorrow.
The 14th and the 15th. 2 16 seeded games and 2 11 seeded games, and one of our hometown teams, K-State, is playing Wake Forest, and then the other 11 seed is USC and Providence. And so,
and then the 216 seed
yes.
coming out of the Midwest is North Carolina Central versus UC Davis,
Yes.
UCal Davis, and the other is Mount St. Mary's versus New Orleans, who
Right.
we just talked about.
Yes.
Texas A&M Corpus Christi and New Orleans
Battling
could
it out.
have easily switched
Could
it
have-
out,
exactly.
but it's
Isn't that
New
crazy?
Orleans up
Yeah.
against Mount St. Mary's. So real
Right.
quick, we got to pick our winners from the play-in game.
yes, okay, I am going to go with K-State, although Danny Manning is a former KU great.
Yes.
He's done really good things at Wake Forest, but I really think K-State's got their back against the wall. The way that they fought in the Big 12 tournament, I've got to go with K-State, plus it's the alma mater, have to go with them.
I'm going to have to agree with you. It's their 2-11 seeds, and both of those, I think both Wake Forest and K-State have a chance to make noise.
Yeah.
But I just, I got to roll with the purple. I'm going K-State.
Yes.
Then with the North Carolina Central versus UC Davis, I don't care.
Yeah.
They're a 16 seed, and 16 seeds don't beat one, so whoever wins. So I'm just going to say UCal Davis.
Okay, I'm going to go with NC Central because I just don't know. I'm throwing darts there. Yes. Okay, and then for the 11th seed, Providence or USC. It's going to be a tough one. I think whichever one I pick is the opposite's going to
Me
win.
too.
So I'm going to go with Providence on this one, and let's see what happens.
Oh, snap. Because I was picking Providence
well,
as
let's
well.
pick Providence,
I'm
yeah.
picking Providence.
Okay,
I just
great.
think USC was limping towards the finish line, and
Yeah.
Providence is playing its
Yes,
best ball.
exactly.
And then the final play-in game, Mount St. Mary's versus New Orleans.
Final
Again, a
16
16 seed.
Yep.
So whoever
That's
wins
a
is
good
going to
way to
go get
round it
run
out.
through in the next round.
Probably.
But I heard some people making some noise about the Mount, meaning Mount St. Mary's.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go with Mount St. Mary's.
And I'm actually going to go with New Orleans. I love the way they finished in their conference tournament. I thought they were a fun team to watch, and we'll see what happens. Again, it probably doesn't matter because they're going to get beat in the next round. Anyway,
They are going to get beat.
It'll still be fun for those guys to at least get one win in the NCAA tournament, and so that will be fun.
There we go.
We're really excited for the fact that it is March Madness, and this is what we do. We talk about all the stuff going on
When we come
here,
back,
and-
we'll have to really get into our other brackets.
Exactly. On Thursday, we will really be getting into it. Kansas City is hosting the Sweet 16 and the Elite 8.
Yes.
So the Split Center will be
Kansas
popping off
State's
again.
also hosting the NAIA National
Yes,
Championship.
they are. And it's also taking
KC.
place downtown. Kansas City represent.
Rep.
Well, we want to say we appreciate your time, folks, and we'll see you next time.